Daku wiped the sweat from his forehead as the scorching sun beat down on his small plot of land. The soil was dry, cracked and lifeless. Year after year, his harvest shrank. The rains came late, and when they did, they brought more destruction than nourishment. He tried every trick he knew, but nothing seemed to work. The whispers of his failing farm spread through the village of Odimba. Neighbors pitied him, while others mocked him. A man with empty barns cannot call himself a farmer, they jeered. But Daku held on, his calloused hand tending to the land that once brought him pride. Until one evening, with the sun sinking low, he sat on the cracked earth and wept. He was tired. Word of a powerful spiritualist named Baba Kalani reached Daku. The old man was known for his mystical ways and promises of fortune. Desperation clung to Daku as he made the long trek to Baba Kalani's compound, hidden deep in the forest. The air inside the hut was thick with the scent of burning herbs. Baba Kalani, with his piercing eyes and graying beard, studied Daku. "You seek wealth," the spiritualist said, his voice low and commanding. Daku nodded, his hands trembling. "Yes, Baba, I have tried everything. The land rejects me. My family name will be forgotten." Baba Kalani chuckled. "Wealth can be yours, but it comes at a price." He explained the terms and he said, "Every year, as long as you, Daku, lived, you would receive unimaginable riches. Gold, livestock, and crops will flourish. But in return," he said to Daku, "you must mark your body with a tattoo, a symbol of your oath. As one rule, you must never break." Kalani warned. "You must never fall in love. Love weakens the soul. It will break the bond." Without hesitation, Daku agreed. Daku returned to Odimba, and within days, his farm transformed. Thick green stalks rose from the earth, and his barns overflowed with grains. Cattle grazed lazily on lush pastures. The villagers watched in awe as the poor farmer became the wealthiest man in the land. But each year, as the harvest came, Daku fulfilled his end of the bargain. Hidden beneath his clothing, the tattoos multiplied. Some were bold and intricate, swelling across his back. Others were small and simple, etched along his ribs. No one saw them. No one knew the cost of his fortune. The first tattoo was a striking image of a coiled serpent etched across his shoulder. Baba Kalani himself applied it, chanting in an ancient tongue. Daku felt a strange warmth seep into his skin as the ink settled. The snake eyes gleamed as though alive. That night, gold coins mysteriously appeared in his wooden chest. The ground outside his hut grew rich and moist, ready for planting. His once starving cattle grew fat, their ribs no longer visible. Villagers whispered in astonishment. They marveled at how the land that was once rejected now embraced Daku with abundance. But none knew of the serpent on his shoulder, the dark price he had paid. Daku avoided questions about his sudden fortune. When asked, he would smile humbly and say, "The gods have been kind." Each year, as promised, Baba Kalani summoned him. With every tattoo, Daku felt a part of himself fading. The tattoos crept across his skin like vines, each symbolizing a year of his pledge. There were thorns, horns, more especially horns of a ram for strength, an eagle in mid-flight for vision, and a burning sun for prosperity. Though the riches flowed endlessly, Daku carried the growing burden in secret. The inked images twisted with stories of power, but they also whispered of the chains that bound him. Yet he dare not question the price. Not yet. Then one day, she arrived. Her name was Zara. She came to Odimba from the neighboring village to sell her woven basket at the market. Her dark skin glowed under the morning sun, and her braided hair swayed gently as she moved. She wore a bright yellow wrapper, the color of sunshine, and her laughter rang like a distant chimes. Daku was captivated. At first, he tried to ignore her. He reminded himself of Baba Kalani's words. The spiritualist's voice echoed in his mind. You must never fall in love. But the more he saw her, the harder it became to resist. Zara's spirit was infectious. Children followed her through the market, giggling as she gifted them small trinkets. Even the elders spoke of her kindness. She was not like others who chased wealth. She was content with her basket, finding joy in the simplicity of her craft. One afternoon, as Daku admired her from a distance, their eyes met. She smiled. The warmth of that smile unraveled something within him. Days turned into weeks, and Daku found himself lingering at the market more often. He bought baskets he didn't need just to hear her speak. Her voice was like music, soothing the shadows that clung to him. Zara admired Daku's kindness. Though he was wealthy, he remained humble. He gave freely to those in need and treated the villagers with respect. He saw beyond the riches that surrounded him, noticing the sorrows that lingered in his gaze. One evening, as the villagers celebrated the harvest festival, Daku asked Zara for a dance. They moved beneath the starlight sky, laughter mingling with a distant drumming. For the first time in years, Daku felt free. Why do you look so sad sometimes? Zara asked Daku softly. Daku hesitated, but her gentle touch urged him to speak. There are burdens that can not even ease away wealth. In other words, even wealth cannot be erased, he whispered. Then perhaps, she replied, it is not true wealth. Her words echoed in his mind long after the festival ended. He knew he was breaking the sacred vow, yet his heart had already made its choice. Love blossomed between them. They met in secret, stealing moments beneath the ancient baobab tree. Zara's laughter became his solace, and her presence mended the cracks within him. But Daku knew that within every heartbeat that belonged to her, the bond with Baba Kalani frayed, and soon the consequences would follow. On the eve of his 5th year of wealth, Daku stood before his mirror, tracing the newest tattoo on his chest. But as the ink set, a strange chill coursed him through. That night, shadows whispered through his dreams. "You have broken the oath," a voice rasped. Daku woke in a cold sweat, clutching his chest. The following days brought misfortune. His cattle fell ill, the sky darkened, and the rain refused to fall. The once fertile fields withered. Gold coins in his chest turned dull and tarnished. At the village market, whispers returned. The people spoke of his dwindling fortune and the failing crops. Zara noticed the dark circles under Daku's eyes, the weight that pulled down his shoulders. "Tell me, Daku," she whispered, and also pleaded with him. "What burdens you so?" But fear held him captive. How could he confess the truth? How could he explain the pact that now unraveled? Baba Kalani's words haunted him. Love had tainted his fortune, and the spirit would demand their prize. Daku could no longer avoid the inevitable. The time had come to face Baba Kalani. He made his way through the thick forest, the whispers of the spirit echoing around him. The trees loomed like ancient watchers, bearing witness to his defiance. The path to the spiritualist's hut seemed longer than before, the air dense with dread. Every step felt heavier, as though the weight of his choices clung to his feet. The hut stood as it always had, with tendrils of smoke curling from its thatched roof. But something was different. The shadows danced unnaturally, and the air crackled with unseen energy. Daku's heart pounded as he pushed aside the tattered curtain and entered. Baba Kalani sat cross-legged on the floor, his presence commanding and still. The glowing embers in the fire pit illuminated the spiritualist's deeper, wrinkled face. His eyes, sharp and knowing, bore into Daku like twin flames. "You have broken the sacred vow," Baba Kalani growled, his voice low and gravelly. "The spirits are angry, Daku, and they will have what is owed." Daku's throat tightened. He dropped to his knees, his palms pressed against the dusty ground. "Baba, forgive me. I did not intend to betray the oath. I tried to fight it, but..." "Love is not something you stumble into unknowingly," Baba Kalani interrupted, his voice laced with scorn. "You chose it, knowing the price." Daku's eyes pleaded. "I was lonely. The wealth you gave me could not fill the emptiness, and Zarab brought light into my life. I love her." Baba Kalani's laughter was bitter. "Love? You speak of love, yet you invited ruin upon yourself. Did you think the spirit will not see? They are not blind, Daku. And now the balance must be restored." The air in the hut thickened. Daku's shapes flickered into the shadows, their whispers growing louder. The spirit had come. "Please," Daku begged, his voice trembling. "Is there no other way? I will pay whatever price is demanded. Just spare Zara. She is innocent." Baba Kalani's eyes narrowed. The spirits care nothing for innocence. The bond was yours to keep. Now it unravels. The old man raised his hands, and the flames in the fire pit roared, casting monstrous shadows on the walls. Searing pain coursed through Daku's body. His tattoos burned like molten fire, twisting and writhing beneath his skin. He clutched his arms, gasping for breath. Each mark binds you to the spirit, Baba Kalani intoned. With every oath broken, they are awakened. You will bear the weight of their wrath. Daku's screams echoed through the night as the tattoos paused, glowing with an airy light. The serpent on his shoulder slittered, its ink body twisted as though alive. The eagle's wings flapped, and then the sun on his chest radiated unbearable heat. You still have a choice, Baba Kalani said, his voice softened. Leave Zara. Sever the tie. The spirit may yet show mercy. Tears streamed down Daku's face. He thought of Zara's laughter, her gentle touch, the warmth she brought into his cold existence. Could he truly abandon her? Could he sacrifice love for survival? No, he whispered. I will not lose her. The flames sputtered. The spirit eased in fury, their whispers promising torment. Baba Kalani shook his head, his expression grim. Then prepare, Daku, for the price to oppose the spirit is far greater than you can imagine. As the shadows consumed him, Daku knew his fate was sealed. The confrontation had begun, but the true battle was yet to come. The days that followed were filled with dread. Daku felt the spirit's presence constantly. Shadows flickered along the walls. Whispers slittered through the sky, and the air around him grew colder. Each night, his tattoos burned, a constant reminder of his defiance. Sarah noticed the change. She saw the hollowness in Daku's eyes and the tremble in his hands. No longer could he hide the burden he bore. Daku, she whispered one evening as he sat beneath the ancient baobab tree. The stars flickered above. You are not yourself. Tell me, what haunts you so? He opened his mouth to speak, but the words caught in his throat. How could he explain the unspeakable? But the weight of silence grew unbearable. There is something I must tell you, he said at last. But promise me, no matter what, you will not fear me. Sarah's finger brushed his trembling hands. I promise. With a heavy heart, Daku removed his shirt, revealing the twisted markings that marred his skin. The serpent, the eagle, the burning sun, all alive, breathing with dark energy. Zara gasped, tears pooling in her eyes. The tattoos, they are the price of my wealth. Daku explained, his voice cracking. Every year, I gave a part of myself, and when I broke the vow, the spirit awoke. Now they demand their price. Zara's hand shook, but she did not pull away. Instead, she cupped his face. Her warm touch was steady. Then we'll face them together, she whispered. But Daku knew the spirit would not be swayed by love. Baba Kalani's words rang in his mind. The price of the defiance is far greater than you can imagine. That night, as Zara slept, Daku stood by the door of their small hut. He watched her peaceful face, memorizing every detail. Then, without a word, he slipped into the darkness. He returned to the forest, the path illuminated by the pale glow of the moon. The spirit awaited him. Baba Kalani's hut loomed ahead, but this time there was no hesitation. Daku entered, meeting the spiritualist's cold gaze. "I have come to offer my final sacrifice," Daku declared, his voice unwavering. Baba Kalani nodded solemnly. "And what will you offer, Daku?" "Myself," Daku said. "Take my soul. Spare Zara. Let her live free of the curse." The spirit howled in approval. Baba Kalani's eye flickered with sorrow and respect. "So be it." The flames roared and the shadows closed in. Daku's body writhed in pain, but he did not scream. He thought only of Zara, of her smile, her laughter. He had chosen wealth initially, but this time around, it's love over wealth. And now, he will pay the price. But in that final moment, as the spirit claimed their due, Daku felt a strange sense of peace. He had broken the chains that bound him, and though his body may perish, his love would live on. The village of Odimba would remember him, not as a cursed man who defied the spirit, but as a man who sacrificed everything for the woman he loved. Daku's sacrifice echoed through the spirit realms. The furious howls of the spirit gradually subsided, and the shadows began to retreat. Baba Kalani stood in the solemn silence, bearing witness to the completion of the ancient pact. Zara woke to a coldness beside her. As she searched the village, word spread of Daku's fate. Though sorrow consumed her, she vowed to honor his memory. The villagers, too, spoke of Daku with reverence. He had been a man of great courage, who chose love over all else. Days turned into weeks, and the spirit no longer tormented the land. The crops grew, the rivers flowed, and the curse that had gripped Odimba lifted. Zara, forever changed, tended to the fields Daku once worked. And though the pain lingered, so too did the warmth of his love. For in sacrifice, Daku had found redemption, and in memory he would live forever on. Moral lesson. True wealth lies within. Material riches can bring comfort, but they cannot replace the joy and fulfillment that comes from love and genuine relationships. Choices have consequences. Every decision we make carries a consequence. Greed often leads to temporary gain, but lasting sorrow. Love is powerful. Love has the strength to challenge the strongest of bonds. It brings light to even the darkest path. Integrity and sacrifice. Choosing to do what is right, even when it means giving up personal gain, is a true mark of strength and character. And finally, redemption is possible. Mistakes are part of human experience. Owning those mistakes and making amends can lead to growth and healing. The end. I hope you've enjoyed this story. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.